So our friend Brad McLane has an opportunity to share with us his little bit of stewardship wisdom.
First, I'd like to thank the Canvas Committee for inviting me to have a moment with you guys. That's number one. Two, I'd like to thank Katie Brown for the shameless Steely Dad plug last week. Good news is we're back in the studio and we're preparing for the 2025 World Domination Tour of Steely Dad. So put in your calendars, Katie, Evan, you'll have free admission to all our gigs. So what am I really doing up here? It's threefold. One, the direction I was given was talk about why we're here as a family, what Winnetka Congregational Church means, and put in another shameless plug for perhaps any and all of you to consider your pledge this year. So how did I get here? Remember that book, Accidental Tourist? Well, I'm the accidental congregationalist. I had very little intention of coming into a church again. You know, I grew up in a very ritualistic church, fine by that, but you move on. We moved here because we had young kids and wanted them to go to New Trier. That was it. But Dee Dee thought it'd be a good idea to have them exposed to a church environment. I was like, yeah, okay, you do it. Every Sunday morning was my chance to run on the Green Bay Trail. Perfect. But she went church shopping and found this place. 800 yards from her house, she could walk the kids here. I started to walk the kids here, dropped them off in Sunday school, and then I'd go for my run. It was perfect. I had my whole religious experience going north on the Green Bay Trail. And then I got busted. Someone said, no, you gotta get more involved here. And I was like, okay, then I guess maybe I'll show up a little bit more often. It culminated in Denny Cousins pointing at me in the chest saying, you really should come to worship. That's an important and valuable part of what we do. And so I was drawn in, and I have to say this place, it totally transformed me and shaped my life here in Winnetka and in our community, not just in this church. I was drawn into a faith community and a broader community, and with the likes of Hugh Brower, Bob Lynn, Harry Grace, Patty Van Cleve, Becky Hurley, Ann Kelly, Steve Hewells, Liz Kunkel, Chuck Dowding, Jane Dowding, Susan Snyder, Greg Frasados, Patrick Hanley, Sally Thomason. What do these people have in common? Members of the church, but they've all been elected or selected to either chair or be on local boards or be elected officials representing us. We are this fountain of engagement, a fountain of community, and a fountain of leadership. And of course, it's just a subset of many other WCC members who have helped to influence our community. And with all that said, I recognize we all have our own theological differences, which is, I think, a little bit of the secret sauce of this church. We can come in here from many different faith perspectives. And for me, it offered me ways to engage more within the church and also more broadly in the community. Now, that was a life changer for me. It opened many, many doors for me to be more a part of who we are as a village and broadly as a township. So, heading into a conclusion, it's an understatement to say that I subscribe to our mission and our vision. I subscribe to our leadership under Julie McConnell and Dan, under our council, under Tim and Jessica and Victoria, and under Paolo in the months to come. So I used that subscription model as I thought about pledging. And I added up my literal subscriptions. It's easy to do with one of those apps. You just go to that button that says subscription, you go, wow. Comcast, Netflix, Prime, iCloud, Backup, New York Times, WBZ, Sirius, all these things, you add it up, and I went, that's a big subscription. What if I take that dollar amount and say, well, just take a tenth of it and use that to subscribe to Winnetka Congregational Church? And it turns out to be a pretty good pledge, but it's probably the best subscription investment I'll make in any year. So I encourage each of you, think about that. Do that math and see how that might help shape your pledge to subscribe to the future of what is a great institution as a church, but a great institution as a member of our greater community here in Winnetka, in the area, through New Trier Township. So again, thank you to the Canvas Committee for inviting me to be up here.
Thank you very much, Brad. Well done. Take some courage.